Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Bass back again with another forecast update for you for this July the 9th, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Sunday out there so far. Hope everybody has a great Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to talk about the convective outlooks for the next 3 days. Give you a recap of what I'm going to be talking about toward the end of the forecast period for the next 3 days at the end of this video. So stick around through the entire video. Also, we're going to take a look at the weather radar across the nation. We're going to discuss the watches, warning, and advisory map. Also, we're going to discuss the severe weather outlook for today, Monday, and Tuesday, as you can see here on the forecast screen here. Okay, if you a new viewer and have not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Love to have you. Like these videos, share these videos, and let's go ahead and get the show on the road here, folks. Okay, as you can see, we got 3 days with slight risk included in each forecast period. Pretty much along the East Coast, down along the Deep South, Gulf Coast states, over here in the Plain states as well, and also in the Upper Plain states as well. Marginal risk pretty much across portion of Florida back into Texas, and then in this on day 2, got from South Carolina through Florida back to Washington State, and today's outlook of portion of Minnesota from New York State all the way down to Texas. We will be discussing this at the end of the video. Currently 4 through 7, nothing is currently, but I do expect each day they will add some marginal risk and a slight risk to each forecast cycle as we continue to go forward. Alright, let's take a look at the weather radar across the nation. As you can see, we got showers and storms scattered about over southeast Canada, through Maine, all the way down through Connecticut, also down into Pennsylvania, through the Carolinas. A little bit more widespread here in the coastal Carolinas, from around Raleigh through Florence, South Carolina, down the I-95 corridor there. Also, we got more widespread showers and storms from the Bahamas through southern Florida back into the Gulf of Mexico. Scattered activity off in the coastal waters there, and also over northern Florida as well, in Georgia and portion of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. Puerto Rico, you got some pretty substantial rainfall in your area. Got a good little bit there. Northern Cuba got some pretty widespread, all the way down into Alabama, all the way back in the portion of Louisiana. And southern and around the Guam Island, got some scattered showers around your vicinity as well. We got some scattered widespread showers over portions of New Mexico, southeast Arizona, also up towards Colorado and Wyoming, also back over toward the North and South Dakota. Also back scattered activity to widespread showers extended through Wyoming, Idaho, eastern Oregon. Scattered activity over southwest Canada, also into Washington State, northern Idaho, northwest Montana, and a little bit more widespread over central Canada as well. Alright, let's take a look at the watches warning. Sorry, my computer's acting up a little bit slow again. But anyway, we got flood watches in effect for portions of New Hampshire, Vermont, the western New York State, southern New York State, much of Pennsylvania, all the way down into Virginia. There could be some heavy rainfall in that area. We have severe thunderstorm watches has been posted, and also we got some flood advisory, flood warning in effect also for that region. Also, we got thunderstorm watches in effect for eastern PA. Also down here in southern Virginia. Also down in central and eastern North Carolina. Also the coastal waters there as well. We got some flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for central and eastern North Carolina. Special marine warnings also in effect for southeastern Georgia and northeastern Florida, coastal areas. Heat advisories also in effect for northern Florida, southern Florida, central and southern Texas, western Texas, southern and sections of New Mexico. Also one county over here in California, and also over here in Washington State in northern Oregon. Got some heat advisory there as well. Air quality alert for portions of northern California, not northern California, northern Colorado. Also flood advisory, flood warnings also in effect for areas in the portions of Oklahoma and also northern Texas, also eastern Arkansas. We got some severe thunderstorm warnings also in effect. Also for portions of western Tennessee, also down here along the Gulf Coast region as well. Also, we got some special weather statements for strong thunderstorms across the panhandle of Florida, back all the way into Alabama and Mississippi as well. Alright, now we got some sets of heat warnings in effect for southern and western Arizona, southern California, and also southern portions of Nevada. Also, we got some red flag warnings there as well. And also, we got some flood advisory for portions of California. River flood warning still in effect for western Nevada and also portions of South Dakota. Also up here in Michigan, we got some air quality alerts for you guys as well for the east side of Michigan and on the west side of Michigan as well. Flood watches, flood advisory, flood warnings in effect for portions of northern Alaska. And also the Hawaiian Chain Island got a few gale warnings in effect there as well. Alright, now Storm Prediction Center time. We got general thunderstorm from Maine down to Connecticut, down from southern South Carolina to the Florida Keys, all the way from Arkansas to Texas, all the way back to, let's do over here to Arizona, New Mexico, and then all the way up to as far northwest as Washington and Oregon, Idaho and Montana. General thunderstorms over here, portions of Wisconsin, all the way back over to North Dakota. Also marginal risk over portions of northern Minnesota. Also marginal risk extending from New York State, Vermont, all the way down into ports of Texas. Slight risk also from Pennsylvania to eastern South Carolina. And also again from western Georgia all the way to Louisiana. Alright, if you live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, you're under a slight risk for severe weather this afternoon. And if you live in New York, Memphis, Tennessee, Charlotte, North Carolina, New Orleans, Louisiana, Atlanta, Georgia, you're under a marginal risk for severe weather this afternoon. Tornado probability, less than 2% all areas. Damaging winds, that's pretty much over Minnesota, 5% there, 5% from New York all the way down to Texas. 15% extending from Pennsylvania to eastern South Carolina, western Georgia all the way back to Louisiana, 15% risk area there as well. Alright, if you live in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, you're under a 15% risk for damaging winds. If you live in Memphis, Tennessee, Charlotte, North Carolina, New Orleans, Louisiana, Atlanta, Georgia, Newark, New Jersey, you're under a 5% risk for damaging winds. Alright, the hail probability for today is less than 5% in all areas, so it's just mainly a damaging wind event. Alright, but could not rule out an isolated tornado and also some large hail possible in some areas, still possible. Alright, here's your forecast for your Monday. We got general thunderstorm from Maine all the way down to Pennsylvania. Marginal risk also in effect up here in portions of the northeastern United States. Around Connecticut down toward New York State. Around New York City, that is, and New York State. Also general thunderstorms extending from the Outer Banks of North Carolina through South Carolina all the way back to Michigan. The Great Lakes region all the way back over to portions of North Dakota. Also Washington State all the way back to portions of Texas and also New Mexico as well. Marginal risk extending from the southeast North Carolina through central Florida, back to Louisiana, all the way back far west to Washington and Oregon and Idaho and Montana. Also as far east, northeast as portions of Michigan and Wisconsin. Okay, we have a slight risk from the Panhandle of Texas all the way up to Nebraska. Alright, and if you're in a slight risk area, this includes Amarillo, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Sioux Falls City, Iowa, and Eden, Oklahoma. That's a slight risk area. If you live in New York, New York, Dallas, Texas, Jacksonville, Florida, Fort Worth, Texas, and Denver, Colorado, you're under a marginal risk for severe weather on Monday. The tornado probability, 2% from Iowa all the way into portion of Kansas. And if you in the 2% area, this includes Sioux City, Iowa, Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Garden City, Kansas, and Dodge City, Kansas as well. Winds, this is for damaging winds, 5% in the northeast, southeast, Midwest, and the upper Midwest as well. 15% over the same areas, Texas, all the way in the portions of the 15. If you live in the yellow and the 15% area, this includes Amarillo, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Sioux Falls City, Iowa, Eden, Oklahoma. 15% risk. If you live in New York, New York, Dallas, Texas, Jacksonville, Florida, Fort Worth, Texas, Denver, Colorado. 5% risk for damaging winds. All right, take a look at the hail probability. As you can see, 5% generally the same area, 15%. If you live in the 15% area, this includes Amarillo, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Sioux Falls City, Iowa, Eden, Oklahoma, 15%. And if you live in New York, all the way to Denver, Colorado, you're in a 5% risk for large hail. All right, let's take a look at day 3, and then we're going to wrap the video up. Okay, as you can see, we got general thunderstorm from Maine all the way back to portion of Ohio, also back over here portions of Kansas, all the way back to Montana, south to North Dakota, so portion of Montana back into northern Michigan. We have a marginal rift up here from Michigan all the way back into Montana, slight rift over Nebraska, portion of Kansas, also into Iowa and portions of Missouri. General thunderstorm from Arizona, New Mexico to Texas, all the way to the Florida Keys, and a marginal risk extending from northern Florida to central Florida, all the way back to the Florida Panhandle, back to portion of eastern Texas. Alrighty, if you live in the Omaha, Nebraska area, Lincoln, Nebraska, Delmont, Iowa, St. Joseph, Missouri, Council Bluffs, Iowa, you're under a slight risk for severe weather on your Tuesday. If you live in Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Jacksonville, Florida, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Kansas City, Missouri, you're at a marginal risk for severe weather on Tuesday. Alright, probabilities, pretty much 5% in the brown, 15% in the yellow. And if you're in the 15% rate, excuse me, can't talk this afternoon. This includes Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, Delmont, Iowa, St. Joseph, Missouri, and Council Bluffs, Iowa. 15% risk. And if you live in the Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Jacksonville, Florida, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Kansas City, Missouri, 5% for severe weather in your area. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope everybody continues to stay safe and well. Enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Like these videos, share these videos, and we'll catch you back in the next one.